Sifu Raphael is the founder and host of Coaching Call, Heroes Rising, The Seer Show, and New Tip Daily. He works with individuals, groups, and businesses and helps them find clarity, purpose, and understanding of who they really are in business and personal life. Sifu Raphael has used his skills to develop a variety of multifaceted businesses in the martial arts and fitness industries. He owns and operates a 10,000 square foot martial arts and fitness facility in New York. Jose Escobar is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, published author, and sales professional. He leads compelling, high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through his two business models, the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. He is also the co-host of Heroes Rising.
Jason, how are you, my friend? Thank you so much for filling in, man. I really, really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate it. I love that opening video. That's like just grabs you right from the beginning.
Bam, pulls you in, man. Right. Yeah, so we are about to get started with our show. Unfortunately, I'm seeing over here, StreamYard is having trouble. We're not on Facebook, on any of the Facebooks, but we're on LinkedIn. So people head to LinkedIn. Check us out. We have two exceptional guests coming on. Let's go ahead and bring them on. We have Ahmard and Andrew. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Excellent.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Andrew, do me a favor. At one point, put your links in the private chat. We're going to get started. We're going to have some fun. We have so much to talk about, but I want to bring on Jose, who is one of our sponsors. Let's take a quick look.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
I got to tell you guys, I'm going to speak really quick because they're cutting up the street right outside my house. So for some reason, today's the day to cut up the street. That means that's a good thing because we're going to have improvements. And I love things becoming better. So I want to bring you guys my good friend Ahmard. Ahmard Vital is a motivational consultant, international speaker, and author. He has empowered people globally with his inspirational guidance and tips for self-development. Ahmard provides his audience with the tools needed to achieve personal success, utilize willpower and determination, and develop strategies that will allow people of all ages to achieve personal and professional excellence. After nearly a decade of studying the performance habits of high-achieving athletes, Ahmard has developed programs of inspiration and motivation that are beneficial to individuals, professionals, companies, and organizations worldwide. Ahmard, my gosh, whew, that's a lot, man. You are doing phenomenal things. I'm gonna mute my mic, but it's all you, my friend. Go for it.
First of all, thank you for being on, and thank you for having me be lead for Heroes Rising today. And so I want us to just jump right on into it. We're talking about heroes, right? And we're talking about the 3 weapons in a hero's tool belt. And we're going to focus on 3 F's. So if I had my whiteboard behind me, I'd be jotting these things down. So get your pen and pad out and let's go ahead and get started with this. The 3 F's that are going to be in a hero's tool belt is faith, finances, and focus. Faith, finances, and focus. Now, of course, we're going to focus. We're going to start with the last one first. We're going to start with focus. And focus, I want you to look at when you talk about focus, whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or just an employee working somewhere and have a career and profession, I want you to write down 4 questions because they will be relevant regardless of what you do in life. And these questions are: who am I? What do I represent? Whom do I serve? And how do I serve them? So it's who am I? What do I represent? Whom do I serve? And how do I serve them? The first off, who am I? We don't know where we're going until we know who we are. And of course, at the core, we're children of God, right? And for me, I can say, who am I? I am the son of Melvin, Harry, and Bernadette Vital. That's who I am. That's what I represent. That's what I show up as, right? At the core, I am that. And you say, well, who do I represent? What do I represent? This is when we start getting into our value system, our philosophy, our let's just say kind of our non-negotiables. Like for me, it would be, okay, biblical principles. When I speak, I talk about responsibility, gratitude, altruism, right? These are things that are part of you no matter where you go. Whether you go to the grocery store, you're leading a presentation, you're clocking into work, it doesn't matter. This is who you are. These are the non-negotiables, as one of my advisors share. This is the things that represent who you are and the philosophy, the values you bring to the table for your people. Whom do I serve? Well, what do you do? Right? Are you a barber? Or do you own an HVAC company? Are you a teacher? Obviously, who you serve as a teacher, you serve the students. You're a business owner, your clients. And when you talk about whom you serve, you want to be able to identify who your customers are, who your clients are, and be able to provide them with that service. So you're going into this and you're saying, okay, here's my core audience. This is whom I serve. And so that's question number 3 of the focus. And the last one, of course, is how do I serve them? Right? You start looking at the different ways. How do you present them? Do you go into an office? Do you do things by telephone? Do you do things by the internet? Do you take a stage and speak? Do you do it via coaching calls? How do you deliver the services you provide to your people? And so when we talk about the focus of our careers and our business, those 4 questions will get us to a place where we start looking at things to where we can start formulating our business plans, start formulating our marketing plans, start formulating our strategies. Who am I? What do I represent? Whom do I serve? And how do I serve them? So that's going to be our first tool in our tool belt, which is our focus. Our second one is finances. I know we have to talk about the money, right? Because whether you're going to work or you're going to your business or you've started a business, you must need resources. Money is going to be part of that. So how do you earn, right? Where are the resources coming from? And I want you in your business, regardless of what you do, I want you to identify the different ways you can make money. Maybe you are you're in a profession where you're able to speak, to be able to create products. You want to see where those multiple streams of income are coming from, because the bottom line is that to fuel your life and business, it will take resources, it will take money. And so you have to find ways to generate that. But in addition to trying to find out where those multiple streams of income are going to come from, you also need to learn how to give, right? Because it's not enough for us to just receive resources. We must make sure that it is circulating throughout the community, whether you're giving to nonprofit organizations, whether you're giving to your church, whether you're giving to the local community centers. The bottom line is that we're not meant to just take all of the revenue in after expenses and just keep it for ourselves. We obviously need to take care of our families, but we also need to take care of our community, our state, local, different things to be able to donate and be able to put in on. You need to be able to have that part of your business plan. Is when you start talking about the finances, is to make sure that you are giving to worthy causes. Make sure you are giving to the good of others, because it is not meant for us to do this by ourselves. And in addition to giving, also, let's try to make sure and not be bad with the money. Let's be good stewards of our money. Let's start looking at, the profit loss, start looking at our expenses. Is there some places we can cut to be able to keep more money in house? And so that's what our second F is going to be, on the finance side of things. Where is it going? How are you using it? And how can we better expand and use the monies that are coming in? And our last and final one is going to be faith. Faith is the fuel by which we live. Faith is the fuel by which you breathe. Faith is the fuel by which you operate. So whether you're in a company, a business, a small business, entrepreneurship, whatever you are doing, this is the heart of the matter. And a question you want to ask yourself is, how much gratitude do you wake up with every morning? How much do you say that the life I live is bigger than just me? That the service I provide is bigger than just me, right? When you start looking at that, you want to have a routine together. And I'll be transparent here and share where my morning routine, before I do anything, I make my bed. I pull out my morning men's devotional. I read it. I read scriptures. I read my Bible, and then I pray. What do I pray for? I pray that, hey, I pray for the fact that I'm grateful for being alive, that I'm breathing. I pray for my family. I pray for my friends. I pray for all those around me. I pray for my clients. I pray for my business. I pray for all these things. And of course, at the end of it all, I'm like, Jesus, please help me to be more like you. Help me to live, serve, and love like you, because you are the greatest example to ever show up in my life. And for that, I'm truly, truly grateful. And so when you start talking about, what's in your tool belt as a hero, because we're all heroes, and you talk about your focus, you talk about your financing, you talk about your faith brings validity to all that you do, because that is the part of you that goes beyond just who shows up. It is what you represent. It's a calling. It's something bigger than you. And I want us to be able to embrace that. And whatever your practice is of that, I just shared with you mine, whatever your practice is with that, it always starts in love and gratitude. Because service and impact is going to have to be a vital part of your life when you're doing these things. And so we have those things in our tool belt, the Heroes Toolbelt. We talked about focus, we talked about finances, and we talked about faith. But because we live in a society where we always want a little bit of bonuses, we have a bonus for today. So we focus on, we have our focus, faith, and our finances. And the last one is family. And family is a core part of what you do. You show up because you not only represent something bigger than you from a spiritual standpoint, but the family is the foundation of everything you do. I would be hard pressed at it where if I ask every one of you who are on this call right now, what is one of the motivations to be able to do the business, to be able to go to work, to be able to earn, serve, love, and all those things. And I guarantee you, within the top three, most of you are going to say your family. And that's extremely important. And so I wanted to use that one as a bonus. I wanted to merge it in with faith a little bit, but the family part of it is extremely important. Why? Because our families are structured differently. There's some people out there who are listening who are married. There's some people who are married with children. There's some people who are single. There's some people who are divorced. There's some people who are widowed. But here's the deal. You get to create the family, right? Hopefully you have family who's in your life, uncles, cousins, brothers, siblings, things of that nature, children. However, when maybe you're bereft of some of those things, I want you to go out and find the community and create one. Maybe you have a group you deal with for some sort of activity, a club, whether it's circled around the gym, whether it's circled around a sport, community centers, right? Your local church is a great and amazing place to create community and create family. Because see, life is not meant to be lived alone, right? Whenever you hear someone say, I did this all by myself, they're not telling the truth, because no one does this thing called life alone. And so as you look at what's in your tool belt, I want you to focus. I want you to have your finances in place. I want you to have your faith in line, and I want you to embrace your family. And those things, if you embrace all of those as an entrepreneur, business owner, small business person, any of those different categories where you fall into, I think that when you embrace all four of these and focus on the questions that have been laid out there, you will put yourself, your business, your profession, and everything in a much better position and optimal position. So I thank you all for this time. Your 3 F's plus your plus one with family. Hopefully you've been blessed by this, and thank you for having the time to hear this out.
I am muted. They stopped cutting. So great information, and definitely having the right tools in your tool belt and being a hero. Oof, huge, my friend. Thank you as usual. Wow, I'm left speechless, so I'm going to let Jason take over.
Yeah, well, first of all, Ahmard, thank you for that. I took some really great notes, and this is just such an awesome way to, whether you're starting your day or whether you're right in the middle of your day. If you guys are watching this live or you're watching this later, take a moment just to really marinate on those 4 things, because I think those are some really important topics, and I appreciate you sharing that with us today. Now, I want to go ahead and introduce formally Sifu Raphael, who is the founder of Heroes Rising, which is this show, and 4 other unique shows which are done live. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Sifu Raphael's purpose is to unite like-minded individuals to create new possibilities and impact the world we live in. Sifu Raphael believes that we can all change the world. Most importantly, we need to start with ourselves, and then we can help others. You're back up, Mr. Sifu Raphael.
I am back. Wow, I ran out and gave them a quick tip, stop cutting, for a couple of minutes. But, leading from where Ahmard left off, being a hero to your tool belt, I want to talk about getting a seat at the table. And it doesn't matter what table, but I'm going to talk about business table, right? Think about the many goals that we all aspire to achieve in business. So we need to be consistently producing high quality work that demonstrates your expertise and it adds value to the company that you are part of. And this is for anybody who maybe you already have a high position, but you want to get to the next level, to that table, to be invited to be part of that elite group. I recall many years ago when I was working in an architectural firm, and I was one of the few that were allowed in the executive lounge. And it was kind of stuffy. And everybody in there, it was like gourmet food all over the place because it was the executive lounge. And you got there and you got lunch for free every day, breakfast, anything you needed, you went there. And then they had the regular lounge for regular people like I thought I was a regular person. And I saw there was a division there between both. But some people who were envious of me were like, oh, you're going to the executive lounge? I'm like, yes. And they're like, well, how come you don't sit with us? And at that point I said, why don't I sit with you guys? And so I barely ever went to the executive lounge, but I still got a seat at the table because of my actions. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is your networking. Your network can open doors to so many different opportunities, insights, connections, and it can help you rise through the ranks. It will help you greatly if you demonstrate leadership. So think about this and take some notes, right? Because if you want to get to the top, you have to take action. You have to take the initiative to lead projects. Don't be there waiting and watching everyone else leading projects. Raise your hand and say, hey, I want to lead a project. How can I be of help? Always be of service, and that will take you to so many places. So you want to display leadership qualities such as problem solving, motivating others, and this can highlight your potential as a future leader, whether you are one or not, because there's different rungs on the ladder, if you will, that you can climb up. But remember, never climb alone. Always bring somebody with you. So that's why when I was told you're too good for us, right? I was like, no, I'm one of you guys. So I would sit with them a lot. I would hang out with them, and believe it or not, it cost me to sit with them. You know why? Because it cost me financially, because I had to pay for my lunch in these places. It was less than anywhere else, but it costs me higher level connections. So I kept my connections here. When I started to realize that I needed to up my game, I also needed to realize that even though other people were pulling me down, I was good with them. But I had to elevate myself and go back to the executive lounge and let them know, hey guys, I love you, but I need to be there because I want to move my opportunities to a different level. So no disrespect, but I needed to do that. So realizing where you are and who is holding you back, and all those other people, as beautiful as they were holding me back from the opportunities because I was not in a place to learn about new possibilities. So I did pull myself back into that facility. Don't get me wrong. I still visited my friends. I still, not solicited, but motivated them to come and join me in my new ventures, in my new opportunities. So you want to stay connected with industry trends. And by that, I could not do that if I stayed at the different level. So I did go to the executive lounge because I needed to facilitate better opportunities and to know what's going on with the company. So market developments, being knowledgeable and adapting to new ideas. And I needed to commit myself to growth. And I ask you to do the same thing. It doesn't mean you don't love the people that you kind of have to sometimes leave behind, but you always say, I don't want to leave you behind. Why don't you do what you need to do to come with me? So I did my best to bring so many of my friends along with me, but they were not ready. Why? They were not willing to put on that tool belt that Ahmard talked about, to use the tools that were available. And so I could not keep myself down because I would have stayed with them. I needed to level up. So you need to be an effective communicator. Even to the people that I left behind, I communicated with them that I really enjoyed their company, but I needed to go further, and I invited them along. But the way you communicate is, are you a leader? You need to clearly convey your ideas, your opinions, and your solutions. So let's think about good communication skills. They truly are essential to express the value you bring forth. You want to show initiative every day. You want to show that you identify with areas for improvement within yourself and, most importantly, within the company, especially if you're working for a company. If you're exchanging your time for the dollar, then you need to be really good so that you get more of that dollar for your time. So do you want to work a job where maybe you're getting 30, 40, $50 an hour, or you're getting hundreds of dollars an hour? And I elevated myself to be able to get hundreds of dollars an hour because I did not stay in the cafeteria with other people who only saw themselves at a certain level. I needed to elevate myself. And sometimes it can hurt other people because they don't understand your drive. So how do you get to that table? How do you get the invitation? You need to do the right thing. You need to be a solutions expert. So you got to be proactive. You have to illustrate your dedication to the company's success beyond your current role. You need to maintain a positive attitude. You need to dress appropriately. When they had at this company, they had dress down Fridays. This was started a long time ago. I didn't dress down ever. And that showed people, because what if I was called into a very lucrative meeting, lucrative for the company that I was part of, and I was, in shorts and flip-flops or whatnot? That would not have looked good for the company. So I always dressed in a nice suit. I dress the part at any given time. The other thing is the way you conduct yourself. People will take notice. If you conduct yourself differently at a holiday party, at a gathering, at a dinner, if you drink too much, if you do things that don't necessarily go with the company. And it could be even your boss influencing you, say, hey, have a drink, have this, have that. There are other people who are watching. And even your boss will come back and throw it at you and say, remember, you got drunk at that party? Huh. Can you be invited to the big boy table, big girl table, if you're not fully present all the time? So you need to understand the company that you keep is going to be the company that will elevate you. You need to work on strategies and even challenges. This knowledge will enable you and me, I know I've done it, to align my efforts, your efforts, with whatever organization you work for or whomever you work for, or even if you're in your own company, you're running your own company, you need to know your mission. What is your mission statement? What is your goal? What is everything that's going to resonate with those around you? Let's consider feedback. You want feedback. You want to request constructive feedback from those around you, your peers, your superiors, and anyone. You can even listen so many times. I'm sure, Jason, you do this because you're like, oh, honey, what tie should I wear with this? I'm going to go to this function. And your wife will help you pick out. That's the advice. You're looking at somebody who can see you differently, right? When we consider anything that we do, we should employ other people to get us there. This is how we get ourselves a seat at the table. You need to demonstrate that you are willing to learn and adapt and to grow. But you need to take calculated risks. Don't shy away from taking on challenging projects or responsibilities. You need to step up out of your comfort zone on a regular basis. What's the last thing that you learned that challenged you? Listen, I'm about to introduce my good friend Jason, and this man has definitely stepped outside his comfort zone. Wait till you hear his resume. It is impressive. You need to showcase your ability to handle complex situations at all times. You need to establish yourself as an expert. No one wants to talk to somebody who doesn't know what's going on. If you establish yourself as an expert in your field through leadership, presentations, participation in whatever industry you are, even when you go to events, you need a strong personal brand of you. You need to stand out and you need to be recognized. Make sure you foster an inclusive environment by valuing the perspectives and ideas and treating your colleagues with total respect. I'm gonna cut it here because I want you guys to come in. If you have questions, anything like that, I would love to hear it. What do you guys think? What is your take on business and how to elevate? Put it in the comments. We love to hear people. Thank you. Okay, you're up, Jason.
Well, listen, thanks for that, Sifu. I just love this call so far. I hope that everybody that's watching is just really, I mean, again, I'm here feeling like I got a seat at the table, right? I was invited to be a part of this and firsthand receiving all of this information. And I'm excited to introduce the next speaker who's going to talk with us. And this is Andrew Frazier, who is the Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of Small Business Pro University. As an expert business coach, consultant, and trainer, he has worked one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners and taught tens of thousands of people about business. He empowers business owners to grow revenue, increase profit, and obtain financing. Andrew, you're up.
All right. Great. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Sifu. Appreciate the opportunity to hang out today. It got me coming up after all y'all, so I gotta make sure I'm on my game. But definitely great stuff so far. So if you're listening in, you're hearing some great stuff. Sifu, with your story, it reminded me of Good Will Hunting, where the main character was holding himself back. And finally, his friends had to let him know that he needed to not do that because they wanted to see him succeed. And it was so, it's so important that when you have opportunities, it's not just for you. Other people benefit and are excited about it as well. So, getting that seat at the table and doing everything you can with that seat at the table is key. Ahmad, it's perfect that I'm coming after you because my topic is to access capital, you must pray, and pray for financing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, in business, it's key. Financing is one of the most challenging things for entrepreneurs and business owners. And there's a number of reasons why. But, having worked with so many business owners, help many people get financing from $500 to $5 million. There's some key things that involve to be successful. We're going to talk a little bit about the secret to being able to do that successfully. And one of the things is, I hate to say it, but most people seeking financing do not deserve financing at the time. Why do I say that? I think that as we go through the pray for financing methodology, you'll have a much better picture of that and be able to see, what it takes to really be able to get financing for your business. So definitely look forward to sharing that. But as a business owner or as an employee, these days you have to be more entrepreneurial. It's important to think like an entrepreneur. If you're an employee, definitely if you're an entrepreneur, you need to be thinking about that too. And really, when you're looking for financing, everything goes into that decision by whoever is going to finance you. They're going to look at your leadership. They're going to look at your past history. They're going to look at your credit. They're going to look at your plan for the future. They're going to look at your team, who you hang out with. So all those things come together in the financing process. So, I mentioned that, there's, most people seeking financing don't deserve it at the time. So I'm going to give you the top 10 list of why a business may not deserve financing. So any of you guys who remember David Letterman and his top 10 lists, here's my top 10. No willingness, ability to invest in your own business. Lack of business or industry experience. Credibility and or character issues. No reported income sustainable of sustaining payments. Unfiled tax returns, personal and or business. Poor personal credit history. Significant competition in the industry. Unsustainable business model. Not having a market for your products and services. And unrealistic business expectations. So those are things that can derail your financing process. None of those in itself will make it impossible. And, none of them are insurmountable, but it may take time and effort to overcome it. So, those are the first things you want to look at. But now, when you're looking for financing, we say pray for financing. So that means prepare yourself and your business for going after the financing. That means R for research what types of organizations and what types of financing there are out there. There's thousands of different organizations that do financing, and there's hundreds of different types of financing you can get. So you need to do the research to find the right fit. A is for assemble the documents. A lot of people never get financing because they never finish putting all the documents together and submitting them as part of their financing package. And then Y is for yield. Once you do everything that you're supposed to do, the bank or whoever's financing you is going to need to take time to do what they do. So you've got to yield and let them do what they do. And follow behind them. You can't really lead the process, because if you're trying to lead it, all you're going to do is hurt the situation as opposed to help the situation go through. So the first one, prepare yourself in your business. That means personally, you got your credit, you've got your income, you got your savings, just a lot of things personally to put together your taxes. As far as your business, you want to have your business tax returns done. You want to have financial statements. You need to understand what's on your financial statements. You want to have projections. You want to have a good business plan. So putting those things together will, before you try and get financing is key. You can start working on that today, even if you're not even thinking about financing, because all these things are good for your situation, being able to run the business successfully, being able to be more successful in life with your family or with your employer. So preparation is key. Research is key. How much money are you looking for? Should you be looking for a micro loan? Should you be looking for an SBA loan? Should you be looking for an equity investment? Understanding what those are and the pluses and minuses and what's the right fit, who should you go through, is key. For example, one of my clients was looking to get a loan for $5,000. And most people go to the bank as the first resource for getting financing. But for a business, that's in many cases, that might be one of the last resources. There's other types of financing, and especially if you're looking to get less than $10,000 in financing, you should be going to a micro lender because that's what they specialize in. Bank $10,000 probably may not be worth their time of day, but micro lenders, they want to make those types of loans. So it's important to do the research to go to the right type of organization, and then which micro lender. So being focused, just like was said before, being focused, having your finances, and then pray for financing so you have the faith. When you think about assembling the documents, there's a certain list of documents they're going to ask you for. Definitely your tax returns, your financial statements, but it's not a secret what that list is. So if you're looking for financing, you should come into the process knowing that and actually possibly even put them together. What looks better than if they ask you for some documents and you provide them the next day? If that happens, throughout the process, they're testing your credibility, your professionalism. And by being able to be prepared, submit the documents and information that they need on a timely basis, that only works in your favor. And then the last one is yield. So P, prepare yourself in your business, research, different types of financing and organizations that provide financing, assemble your documents so that you're prepared to submit them, and yield the last one. And any of you have gotten a mortgage would know that it can be a tedious process and you can go through a lot of hoops. And not only do you have to do everything on your end, you have to hand things over to the organizations that's financing you. And you're like, man, I gave you everything. Went through everything. Why can't you give me the money? But there's going to be a delay. You're like, well, what are they doing back there? And sometimes they might even ask you for the same things over or for more documents. But it's part of their process, and you have to let them go through their process to be able to make a final decision. And the more you work with them, the easier and faster things are going to happen for you. So that's really what praying for financing is all about. I hope this gives you some insight. And the most important part of it is prepare. And that's something you can do today, right now, even if you don't have a business.
Wow. Prepare. I love it. When you think about finances, a lot of people, you're right, they scramble when the bank says we need these documents. But if you go, hey, wait a minute, what if you went into the bank with a, hold the documents on your sleeve, so they go, we need this. Well, I have everything, right? That probably definitely speeds up the process because you said it. They have to go through a process, right? Very important. Awesome. Great information. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Andrew. You always teach me so much. I appreciate you, my friend.
Okay, appreciate you as well. Thanks for having me.
Anybody have any questions for Andrew?
I do. Andrew, I would love if you could maybe just in the comments or in the private chat, list those Letterman 10, right? I got like 2 or 3, the 10, the list of 10 at the beginning. I didn't catch all of them.
I also loved how you said David Letterman used to do his 10. These are my 10.
Well,
That's great.
Some people might not know who he is, but
it's just showing your age. That's okay.
We do. Wait, let's find out. Ahmard, do you know who David Letterman is? He's like, what?
He's thinking about it.
How about Jay Leno?
Come on now. I mean, I know I may be the youthful of this, but I am Gen X, and I was born in the 70s. I absolutely know who Letterman is.
Okay.
Yes, all right. One of the best.
Absolutely.
Miss Larry King too.
That's right, Larry King. Wow, that's a legend right there, right? Hey, guys, I want to talk to you about my co-host today. Really, really, oh my God, his resume is like beyond. So let's dive right in. I would suggest that you don't mess with this guy. By the way, I'm going to tell you why. You're going to listen to me, and you're going to go, okay. Total respect, right? Jason Flame, he is the owner of Moore Park Karate and Krav Maga in Moore Park, California. He started his martial arts training many, many years ago. I think he opened his school in 1985. He is a 7th degree, unless you're an 8th degree now, Jason. 7th degree black belt in American Tang Soo Do, and also holds black belts in Krav Maga, Kitsugo Jiu-Jitsu, and Combat Hapkido. He has served as a martial arts business consultant, so he knows the martial arts business, which this is how we met, right? Many, many years ago. Master Flame has pursued his childhood dream of becoming, listen to this one, a professional wrestler. And he accomplished that at the age of 38, when people think you're too old, not at all, and actively wrestled for Millennium Pro Wrestling from 2013 to 2019. Wow. Becoming a Triple Crown champion, Jason is an active member of his community and serves on the board of directors for several local organizations and community events. Recently, I like this very much so, Jason and his wife Jackie have become partners in Country Harvest Restaurant and Coach's Old Fashioned Ice Cream Parlor. Jason also is the host of the Master Motivation podcast. He is an active community member. He attributes his success of business to understanding the importance of giving back to those in his community. But I'm going to change that a little bit, Jason, because I don't think you took it away from them. You're actually giving them what they need. So, Jason, my friend, all you.
Listen, thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it. And so honored to be on this call, just to listen to these gentlemen and Sifu Raphael, to spend some time again with you today. About a week or so ago, you had contacted me and said, hey, I'd love to have you on as a co-host. Jose can't make it. He's out in Romania celebrating, having some fun. And what are you passionate about? What do you want to talk about? And the topic of loyalty came up. So right away, what I did is I went and started, reading a little bit more, and I'm going to share a passage and 9 tips that I really enjoyed. But, as a martial artist, loyalty is a really big part of what we do. And I actually had a student one time that they told me that they didn't like being told that they were loyal because it made them feel like a pet, right? Because that's when you think of loyalty, your pet is more loyal to you than anything else. But when I really read through these 9 tips, I think that this will remind us how sometimes we get caught up in not feeling the loyalty back. See, for Rafael, I'm sure that you can understand in your school that we feel like maybe we give more than we get back, and that's okay, you know, because that loyalty, it goes both ways. It's kind of like respect. If you give respect, you can get respect. If we give loyalty, we will receive loyalty. And so I read I just real quick read the definition of loyalty, right? Loyalty is a strong feeling of support or allegiance. Okay. And that's with your team, with your family, with the organizations, the business connections that you have, any allegiance or support that you feel from others. Okay. Now, the 9 things that I want to cover real quick are: number 1, making a commitment. We'll talk about that. Number 2, offering continual support. Number 3, we talked about this a little earlier with communicating effectively. Number 4, also talked about before, was practicing gratitude. Number 5, being persistent. Number 6, staying true to yourself. Number 7, complete small gestures. Number 8, practice forgiveness. And number 9, ask for help. So I'm going to start with number 1, and I'm going to go through each one and just read you the passage that really stuck out to me. So number 1, make a commitment. Being a loyal partner involves a conscious commitment to the relationship. This means acknowledging your choice to be a part of the relationship and taking responsibility for your actions, good and bad. So we're all, again, thinking of, you know, maybe I'm thinking of a student that wasn't loyal, right? But was I loyal enough to them? And sometimes the good actions and the bad actions can be happening on both sides. So again, in any relationship, it goes both ways. And then number 2, talking about offering continual support. One of the best ways to show loyalty is through the unconditional support of your partner's needs. Knowing how to step in and provide assistance will make them feel more secure, and the relationship will be stronger as a result. You know, I can't think of a better example for this number 2 as my wife, who is always 100% in support of everything I do. So when it talks about making me feel more secure and making me feel stronger about not only our relationship, but just myself, that continual support can go a long way. Number 3, communicate effectively. One of the most essential aspects of a loyal relationship is having open lines of communication about feelings. Talking to your significant other about your emotions and what you're thinking about, including your desires and fears, goes a long way in cultivating emotional loyalty and helping the relationship work. I mean, communication is really what bridges all relationships, whether it's in business, whether it's in your relationship, family, otherwise. Communication is the key. Number 4, practicing gratitude. I know that earlier Ahmard was talking about, you know, the first thing he does is wake up and pray and thank God for being alive today, for being able to breathe, for the life that we live. You know, take time to practice gratitude for those that are in your life by reminding yourself of how fortunate you are to have your romantic partner in your life, or friends, business colleagues, again, in my situation, my students, and recalling all the various ways they improve your life, you'll be more likely to avoid disloyalty. Number 5, be persistent. Loyalty takes persistence. When a long-term relationship comes upon challenging times, whether for internal or external reasons, remembering your commitment and persistently sticking to that commitment can be what it takes to ride out difficult situations and prevent a separation. So I'm thinking immediately of a really good friend who I actually just spoke with last night. We are pretty regularly gym partners, and I was texting him and calling him and, hey, we're going to go to the gym today. Hey, you're going to make it today. And at one point, I feel like I was over the top. I felt like I was too much. So I kind of backed off. And then we had a conversation last night, and he was like, man, I need you to be persistent. I need you to stay on top of this. I need you to call me and ask me if I'm going to the gym. And so that reminded me that persistence will help further our loyalty to one another as gym partners. Number 6, stay true to yourself. Having a strong sense of who you are will go a long way in finding that compatible relationship. Knowing when you need to ask for help and when you're falling short of your potential is essential for a healthy relationship. So, sometimes we just have to really be honest with ourselves and know that if we're falling short, that's part of life, and that's where the loyalty of a friend, a partner, a family member can come into place and really help you get back on track. And knowing what your potential is and being able to recognize that and reach just a little bit more. Number 7, I love this one. Complete small gestures. Loyalty doesn't require grand gestures, while self-sacrifice and sincere commitment are critical to a successful relationship. Little things such as sharing kind words or taking on an extra task or giving your partner a break can go a long way in building loyalty. Moreover, being honest about relatively minor things can help you and your partner avoid disagreements about major things. I'm thinking about my staff right now. I'm thinking about my instructors who work really, really hard in our school, and they're so loyal to me, but I want to make sure that they feel my loyalty to them. And I love to take moments. We just had an instructor who is getting ready to go away to school, and I just wanted to bring in, I brought in flowers, although my wife told me it was a plant, but it was flowers. And I gave her $100,000 bar, and I said, I couldn't give you $100,000 in cash, but here's $100,000 in a candy bar. And just that small, and the smile on her face made me realize, wow, that was just a small thing, but maybe it made her day. Maybe it let her know how much I appreciate her. I love to celebrate every anniversary, every year that our instructors are with us. As a matter of fact, my wife and I still celebrate how many months we've been together. We have a contest every single month that on the 23rd of the month, who is going to post a special message on social media that calculates the number of months we've been together. And just those small gestures, I think, really go a long way. Number 8, practice forgiveness. Knowing when to let go and when letting go is the right choice in a disagreement is essential. Practicing forgiveness after you or your partner makes mistakes is required to keep your peace of mind and sense of well-being. Obsessing every little detail can lead you to miss the big picture. And I don't know, those of you that are watching this call or those of you on this call, sometimes for me, this could be a really hard one, and not always forgiving the other person, but being able to forgive myself for mistakes that I've made. Sometimes that's a really hard thing to do. But when we get so focused on what went wrong, we're losing sight of what has already gone right or what could go right? So we start sinking down that rabbit hole of feeling negative versus focusing on the positive. So practicing forgiveness, really tough one for me. Number 9, asking for help. It's essential to know when to ask your partner for help and when to rely on outside parties for assistance. So look to loyal friends for support and perspective during challenging times. You can also consult, therapists, relationship experts to assist you and your partner in strengthening your loyalty. So a lot of what this is talking about may sound like it's just a relationship with a significant other or a partner, but this can be with any relationship in your life. Knowing when to ask for help when you're struggling in business. I might ask Andrew for help on learning how to get better finance, how to prepare and research, assemble, and yield. Right, I'm learning from him today. I might follow up with that. Right, I might talk with Ahmard about his tool belt. And just remind me those things, because keeping my faith in my finances, keeping my focus, and keeping my family priorities are going to help me redirect. And sometimes just that little nudge, just like I was to my friend last night saying, hey, let's go work out. And I thought maybe I'm asking him too much. He was maybe waiting for me to come to him with that help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. So again, let's go back 9 things so that we can be and we can practice being a more loyal partner, loyal friend, loyal family member. Make a strong commitment, offer continual support, communicate effectively, practice gratitude, be persistent, stay true to yourself, complete small gestures, practice forgiveness, and don't be afraid to ask for help. So, Sifu, thank you for asking me about loyalty, because this would not be a topic that I would normally just come out and speak for about 10 minutes. I thought we might talk about martial arts. We might talk about professional wrestling. Maybe we wouldn't talk about business systems, right? But you made me get outside my comfort zone and go look for some information. And just reading through this and talking through this has helped me. So I hope that it's helped everybody else watching today.
My friend, that was powerful. It really was. And, you know, if I was able to encourage you, and it was a topic that I kind of brought up and you're like, I'm running with it. But if it helped you and made you think differently and even appreciate someone more, because you go, wait a minute, that person has been a member of mine for so many years, or that mail person always goes out of their way to make sure I get my mail or my packages, all of that. So do we recognize everyone for the loyalty, even if it's minute, right? That maybe it is their job and they could just drop the mail. But I guess what? I have a mailbox outside my facility, one of my facilities, and my Saturday mailman always comes in. My during the week mail people never come in. My Saturday comes in and it's super nice, really exceptional. So are they making a difference in my life? Minute. Or is it because I recognize them? If I see them out in public, I'm going to say that is a person I can count on. That's a person who goes out of their way for someone else. So thank you, Jason, for bringing up, bam, strong, powerful ending to this incredible show. Gentlemen, if you can unmute, would love to let's charge Jason with some questions, because as you know, he can wrestle us. Go for it.
So, Jason, loyalty is huge, but there's some good sides and bad sides of loyalty. You talked about the good sides. What are some of the things to watch out in terms of loyalty?
So I think this goes back to when I was listening to Sifu Raphael talk about earning his seat at the table, right? And as he was talking about being in a group that somewhat brought him down and wasn't allowing him to grow. Sometimes we could be loyal to a fault. It happens with family members, right? I think with family members, because family's family, right? They're blood, right? You were born to them. You didn't choose them, but you were born to them. And sometimes, unfortunately, family members can bring us down and can hold us back. And so, just like Sifu Raphael said, any other area in your life where you feel like you're stuck and you're loyal just for the sense of being loyal, because one of those things was stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself and knowing who you are and having that ability for your own growth. And again, Raphael said, bringing people along, but not always, not everybody. You can only lead a horse to water, right? You can only lead the way, but they won't always follow. So I think that's my answer to that. Is that's when I think that loyalty can be a negative or can have a downside, is that when it's pulling you back from your potential, or it's hurting others' growth, because sometimes in your organization, right, your growth or lack thereof stunts the growth of everyone below you. If I'm not growing, my team's not growing. So when we look at the big picture that way, I think that that's where loyalty can be have a negative effect.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. Go ahead, Ahmard. I think you have a question in there. Go for it.
All you guys have been so beneficial, but with your top 10 list, and Jason closed out with a list, and there was a couple of things that stuck out to me, and one of them was practicing forgiveness. I think that there's a part of life that doesn't get looked at very often, is sometimes it's addition by subtraction. And when we hold on to those not letting go of old things and old hurts or whatever, and we don't properly forgive and bless and pray for those who have wronged us in some type of way, that is so deep. And I'm speaking to the audience, I'm speaking to you all, and I'm speaking to myself from the standpoint of like, have we taken personal inventory of our lives and seeing that there's some boulders that are hanging around our necks while we're trying to go do great and amazing things? While are we holding on to extra weight, mental, spiritual, physical weight that needs to be let go because we still have issues with something that happened 10, 12, 15 so years ago? So I think one of your final points does really hit home. So thank you for that.
Yeah. When I was talking about that part, there's several things that I can think of, but when it relates to the martial arts school, I've had students that have been with me for years. They've been with me for years, right? And all of a sudden they're gone, and I find out that they're training at another karate school. And if you're in the martial arts industry, this is a big hit to our ego, number one. And number two, you feel like, well, what did I do wrong? Why couldn't I keep them? But then that just kind of hangs on. And I finally have to get to a point where I say to myself, if it's what's best for them and they're going to be able to continue to grow, being at another karate school is not going to hurt me. It's going to help them. And who knows, maybe they'll come back with some new knowledge and revisit. So that's just something, that's really hard for me. But asking myself for forgiveness is even harder. I know that every day I make mistakes, and sometimes I can really live in that mistake and not get past it. And so I have to really learn how to forgive myself. And I think we can all understand that point for sure.
I love that you brought that up, because for me, it's not about train with me. It's just train. If I'm the one that's going to be in front of you, great. If not me, someone else. But please don't stop training, even if you leave me. And one of the things, and you probably get this, people who come in, they're gung-ho. Yeah, this is it. This is the best thing since sliced bread. And I'll say, yep, you're quitting soon. Right.
Burnout.
So when people, blow smoke, just be wary. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been an exceptional show, and I knew it would be because I have some power hitters here. Jason, you came in, you wrestled everything. You were exceptional today, and I would love for you to come back, definitely, not only as a co-host, but even as a guest as well, because then we can talk about anything you want. I didn't. And listen, I said loyalty, and you ran with it. You could have said, no, I want to talk about something else, but you ran with it. So you are definitely exceptional, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on Heroes Rising, because you all, to me, are heroes, changing the world one person at a time. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you.